Good morning. It's Sunday. Oh, I got a frog in my throat. Wouldn't you know it? Right when I'm going to go on air. Oh, I am going on air. I'll go again. Good morning. It's Sunday morning, and here I am with a Sunday thought. I am an Olympics nut. Anybody who knows me during the 2 weeks of the Olympics, I am in front of the television watching a great variety of sports, and this couple of weeks has been no different. I do sleep though, because they're in France this year. They start early, like 12:30, I think it is in the morning, and they're finished fairly early. Anyway, this morning I got up and I had not put on to register a certain channel until my phone announced this game, tennis game, and I couldn't believe that I had done anything. It seemed like I had everything recording, but anyway, um, I managed to catch Djokovic winning his gold medal. Now, if you follow tennis at all, the one thing Djokovic didn't have and wanted was the gold medal. He has everything else. I mean, more than Federer, more than Nadal, he's got more, I believe, more Grand Slams than anyone else. But he didn't have the gold medal. And he was playing a young fellow coming up who will, I'm sure, have a gold medal within a few years. Actually, they only comes around every 4 years. So at some point, he'll own one for sure. And they went right to the wire in the two sets, if you know anything about tennis. And I only caught the last little bit, but Djokovic won the medal and tears. I can't believe it. He has been wanting this for years. The one thing he didn't have in his itinerary. But before that, I was watching some girls hurdling. I used to hurdle when I was young. I did a lot of sports when I was young. Grew up in a sports country. So it was, I know what it takes. It's called discipline. It's called practice. It's called going, doesn't matter the weather. It means that you are committed to whatever it is that you're doing. And yes, we sit down in our comfortable seats and we watch these athletes doing their thing, and some not making it and some winning. I watched a great, I don't know what it was now, 200 women's 200, I think it was, or maybe it was 400, running flat out. Do you know how much discipline that takes? How many days, and no matter what the weather is, just road work, practicing, starting, discipline. I grew up knowing a little bit about discipline because I danced as well. And sounds funny but I had weekly dance lessons. I played field hockey. I did sports at school. So there was a lot of time things you have to do or be or work on. Now, the thing is, how committed are you? It's even like me appearing here 3 times a week at a certain time. Discipline comes into that. You've got to make allowances. You've got to think about what you're going to say. Although sometimes I may not do that. I sit down and say, because I was actually watching Djokovic play his tennis this morning, that said, yeah, right, this is a good time to talk about discipline. Now, as a woman, having 2 kids and a husband, I worked, he worked, kids went to school. You can't just have, what would you say, organization without a certain amount of discipline. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a thing work out. Everybody knows their role. Everybody knows their chores. Everybody knows how they run. For instance, for a long time, I had a fair distance to drive to get back from work. My husband was in university. He was home and he cooked the dinners. He looked after the kids. And that's called teamwork. and having everything working, everything in the way that you were wanting to go. So when I came home, supper was pretty well ready for to be put on the table. The kids were, they were still fairly young, so they were kind of prepared often for the evening. So because we had to work together in order to achieve that, what we wanted to achieve was making enough money to get by, of course. As we were young, we were starting off with nothing. Now, even in writing the books I've written, even in teaching the classes I've taught, I've had a great life. There's no doubt about it. I've traveled a lot. I've taught a lot of people. I've held groups for years, years and years. It takes planning. It takes organization. And I'm going to use the word discipline. You cannot just show up at a class without being prepared. You cannot plan on doing certain things without having some idea what you're going to be doing. Otherwise, it's called flying on the by the seat of your pants. And a lot of people do that and they get away with it, which is fine. But I always found there needs to be a certain amount of organization. There needs to be a certain amount of that discipline of, oh, yes, I have this happening this morning or tomorrow or next week or whatever. I also perform weddings. Not a lot of them since I've been ill, but I do perform some. I had one last weekend. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of time that most people are not aware of. You think somebody just shows up and has everything work smoothly. It's not quite like that. Because if you don't have discipline, if you don't have an awareness of what's going to happen and where you're going to go and what you're going to do, it's like then you get caught and you can get frantic. I mean, I've certainly been in those places when I get a little frantic, but I got everything covered. But it's like timing. I'm a great person for time. Do you plan it out? Like on Sunday mornings, I have my alarm set at a certain time. So, although I must admit this morning I fell back to sleep. But it's like the clock, the alarm goes off. I get up and I do my, I have my shower, I get my clothes on, I have something to eat. I kind of run things with my last through my head as to how I'm thinking about what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to do. And sometimes that changes. That changed today, actually, from what I had planned, because when I saw Djokovic win, and I know what he had to, plus, for those that don't know, he just had surgery on a little bit of surgery on his knee before the French, or yeah, it would have been before the French, which is about a few months or so, 6 weeks ago. So he's been playing with this bandage on his knee. But anyway, it's like, how committed are you? And I have to talk about commitment. How committed are you to what you do? Do you just do it because you got to do it? Or do you do it because you like doing it? Because you have in the background also a reason for you wanting to do that? Some people think when I hear that I do 3 shows, even though this Sunday Thought one is my, in time wise, is usually short because it's supposed to be just a thought, is that, they look at me like I'm crazy because here I am at my age. And I always say I'm semi-retired, which is probably just semi-retired is probably workable. But really, I do have a lot of downtime as well, especially with what's been going on in the last year and a half or so. But I want you to know, look at your life, take a look and see what is working really well and what isn't. And what isn't is where you want to address your attention. What is it that you maybe need to give more attention to? More like attention would be more time, more organization. I have found some people that I just, honest to be honest, I don't know how they survive because there doesn't seem to be any organization at all, or any planning, or any kind of structure. I could not live like that, and that's my choice. And I try not to be judgmental, because that's not my job, is to have judgment on somebody else. So think about what you're doing. And are you achieving what you're really wanting to achieve? Are you getting to where you want to get? Are you going to where you want to get? I know I was just looking at my mail on my phone just before I began to sort of get everything organized for here, because usually 15 minutes before I come on air, I start getting everything ready. And I really have to thank the many people, because there was a number of them saying, I have subscribed, I have subscribed, I have subscribed. And I just want you to know how grateful I am that you find what I say or how I present or whatever it is. I am grateful. I appreciate that you take the time to subscribe and that you say kind words, which is nice, and that you also, many of you in my talks, I always have the comment section open so you can add, and especially on Monday nights when we're doing mental mind treatments, is I really, really appreciate the interchange. Some people, they send me lots of questions. And sometimes I incorporate them in some of the Wednesday group because I want more knowledge put out there than just answering them. But I attempt to answer everyone who sends me a note, comment. Usually twice a week I go to do that, because discipline. This is what I have to do. Now, I haven't been quite so disciplined with my bookkeeping for this year because of my illness. So that is high on my list to begin, because I like being updated, keeping things updated. And so I've got a little note saying, and I've got a couple of weddings that were in the turnpike, you might say, that then they take a lot of time putting things together and comments and go back and forth between a bride and myself. So there's lots of things for you to think about. Is your life running smoothly? If it's running smoothly, you don't have to change it. If you find that you're getting frustrated and kind of on the edge of your, temper edge kind of thing, take a look. Are you doing things systematically, or are you just doing them whenever? Are you disciplined in your thinking? Which I haven't really touched on, but you really need to be disciplined in your thinking in order to achieve. I do a lot of talking about those kind of things on Wednesdays. But it's like we create our world around us, and we all want a world that works. And when it isn't working, guess who we have to look at? Ourselves. But mostly I find we have to look at, are we being disciplined in our thinking? Are we being disciplined in our actions? Are we being disciplined in how we are presenting the world? Are we making sure everything is done? All those kind of things. Anyway, that's my Sunday thought. And is that just take a look, see where you're disciplined and where you're not. And if you can be disciplined, I have some things I'm not that disciplined in. So I can't say that I'm perfect either. But it was a good reminder today watching Djokovic win that golden medal that he has chased for so many years. And as that only comes around every 4 years, he really doesn't have it too much longer to go for. And here he is playing this young guy who is incredibly good tennis player. But he had said he was very, very tired because he's been playing so much, and he's only 21. So he hasn't got up that body resilience yet, and because he usually goes deep into every tournament and things like that. So hopefully his handlers, trainers, things like that will recognize that he does need downtime. Sometimes people forget that. I was big on downtime. I love my holidays, and I've traveled lots, seen lots, done lots, because that fortifies you to have keep going and doing everything. I have one little comment I want to mention, because I was looking this morning at my hair. Nobody's made a comment about it yet, and my hair is starting to come in curly from the cancer treatments. In fact, I was at the clinic last month, 2 months ago, and said, "Does your hair change?" And every nurse in the clinic who was giving us all our transfusion things, our infusions, not transfusion, infusing us, said, "Oh yes." And then I heard of one lady's whose hair color actually changed into black. Well, mine is still white, but the curls are coming in, but they're not coming in all at once. So the front part here is very curly. This is getting more wavy. The back's getting curly, but sometimes it sort of sticks up and I can't get it to lie down. So if you're wondering what's going on with her hair, it's because I'm having these cancer treatments that is making my hair. Oh, my hair, first of all, is like straw. Oh, I hate it. To be honest, I hated it. And I use that word literally because it was full. And they did tell me the kind of technique, what I'm having, your hair doesn't fall, you don't lose your hair. But a lot came out and it was like straw. And it was like, oh, and now it's all curly. It's all wavy-ish. So we'll see over the next couple of months what exactly happens with it. So I just wanted to let you know, if you're watching and wondering what's going on with her hair, that's what it is. I'm getting curls again. I had curls as a kid and it's coming back. So maybe I'm going to my second childhood. Well, maybe that would be third or fourth. Anyway, I want you to have a great Sunday. I want you to think about coming in on Monday, which is tomorrow night, for mental mind treatments. We always have a kind of good time on there. And I thoroughly, to me, that's what I'm here for in lots of ways too. So, and then of course, Wednesday. Anyway, it's August. It's August 4th today already. 4 days have gone by. Time is just ticking by so fast. So you have a good day, enjoy, and just think, where could I just be a little bit more disciplined to make life a little easier? You have a good day. Right. Bye.